Ryan McCaffrey with IGN, joined by Stella Chung. And Stella, you just went down to Infinity Ward. You got your first look at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which is out this holiday. We all guessed this was the game that was coming. They, the last game set it right up, and this, it sounds like this one picks right up where the last one left off. And you got to see some campaign and some multiplayer. So why don't we start with the campaign? What'd you think?
It looks really cool. So this is launching October 28th, which is going to be pretty great. So, October, you can get your heart's fill of Modern Warfare. And it's great because they're bringing back a lot of characters that were in the previous iterations. So just to name John Price, Kyle Gaz Garrick, Simon Ghost Riley, Sergeant John Soap McTavish, the CIA Station Chief Kate Laswell from the last game, and they have two new characters, Alejandro Vargas and Philip Graves, coming into this game. So it's really cool. They're bringing on new players or new characters and also previous characters, which is really cool.
And I know, unfortunately, we don't have footage of this, but I do want you to talk about it because it sounded, in your full preview write-up on IGN, this sounded pretty interesting. We didn't, the only footage we've got is the trailer, so I'm sure you'll be seeing that at some point throughout this conversation. But one of the missions you saw was like a stealth mission where you're swimming around underwater, stealthily taking people out.
Yeah, so just to preface this, they completely redid all their water graphics, which was really cool. So they were showing off, the tech behind that. So they did the waves. They actually made it so that the deeper you go in water, the harder time your enemies will have, actually looking at you. So it's really cool. So you're able to, fully utilize underwater stuff. And the fact that you start off kind of in the middle of the water and then you have to swim around very quietly and you're only able to use a knife for the majority of the mission. And it looks really cool because you're able to get a little bit creative with how you decide to do things, because you can also throw your knife. So not only can you do takedowns immediately, you can also snipe people with your knife, which is really cool. And then you can quickly escape and get out of precarious situations by diving underwater, which was a pretty new mechanic to Call of Duty, I think, going that deep underwater and being able to play with that mechanic. So, yeah.
So basically, in this mission, you're Jaws.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Which is cool. Why
Jaws.
not? I want to be Jaws in a Call of Duty game. That sounds pretty good to me. Did anything else jump out at you before we start talking about the multiplayer side of things?
Yeah, so let me go ahead and take a look at my notes here. Sorry, it's on this side. So I took a lot of notes. So there's also this, I didn't get to talk about this in the preview because I was like, I don't know how much people really want to hear about this, but there's another mission where there's a vehicle mission, and they completely did vehicle stuff too. So it's kind of like GTA, honestly. You can drive any of the vehicles, you can lean out to shoot, you can pop back in and out of cover. You can even climb on top of the roofs of these cars now too, which is really, really sick. So you can jump from one car to the other, and you can take them over. You can utilize them to fight or get some cover, which is really cool. You can also yank the drivers out. And so it's really interesting. They took away the standard vehicle gameplay sequence and kind of made it a GTA sort of thing in Call of Duty.
So we know that the Infinity Ward mission designers went on a movie marathon and they watched Jaws and they watched Fast and the Furious. That's what we're gathering so far. But it sounds like it could make for a fun campaign. I reviewed the campaign for Modern Warfare 1, the reboot from 2019. I liked it a lot. I thought it was the best Call of Duty campaign in quite some time. So I'm looking forward to this one. I'm glad to hear that you saw a couple of interesting missions. Now, multiplayer. Let's take a few minutes to talk about that. That's a big deal. Multiplayer always is in Call of Duty, but you also have Warzone always coexisting over here on the outside as well. So what did you get to see multiplayer-wise? What jumped out at you?
Ooh, okay. So all of the water mechanics that I just talked about with campaign is going to be implemented in multiplayer as well. So you're going to be able to dive and get away from enemies as well. And there are bigger maps, again, like in the previous iteration, and then also the smaller maps, more intimate maps, which is 6v6 and such. So let's see. There's new Gunsmith mechanic where they actually grouped up different weapons into families, so you can kind of unlock weapons in a tree, which is really interesting. I don't think we've seen that with Call of Duty before, so this is a new thing that they're trying. And they reworked some of the attachments, which I'm sure we'll see in more detail once the beta comes out and such. There's also a new mechanic where instead of dodging out of the way. You can fully like dive onto the ground now.
Oh, cool.
So you can, yeah, it's really cool. So you can double tap crouch and you'll just dive to the ground. You can't shoot or anything while you're doing that. That's kind of like your last resort, but it feels really tactical and it's really cool. Again, there's the new vehicle gameplay, which is really cool because they now are implementing more water in maps. So there are a lot of hybrid vehicles that work on land and also convert as you hit the water, which is really cool. You can still use pistols and knives underwater, but if you shoot someone from underwater, it's going to take more bullets to kill them because the trajectory is a lot slower. So they thought about a lot of that stuff. Yeah. So that's going to make for some interesting gameplay. Also, some of the equipment that you use, like proximity mines, when you throw them out in the water, they'll get like a little buoy, like a little raft system, so they float. And it's really cute.
So there's a Marco Polo game mode in multiplayer for Modern Warfare 2, is what I'm hearing. Or there needs to be a Marco Polo mode.
Yeah, so
you have to use your mic, Marco.
So I want to go over some of the. I know this will be like this is in the written preview if you want to go ahead and read it yourself. But I'm just trying to like hit everything as fast as possible. There's a new tactical camera that you can throw on a wall and it'll beep to let you know that someone walked by, or you can actually program, like you could go into the program yourself and look around. There's also a drill charge, which if you play Apex, it's kind of like Maggie's drill or Fuse's ability in Rainbow Six, where you can throw it on the outside of a building and it will drill a hole and into that building and it'll throw a grenade and everyone will have to clear that area or it'll explode and kill them. There's also something called a DDoS, funny enough, and it lets you know, it's a little remote that lets you know if there are equipment and vehicles nearby, and when you press it, it'll release an EMP blast that will disable them for a few minutes. And also, there is an inflatable decoy. And I thought this was going to be silly, but then I saw it in play and I was like, wait, this is actually really easy to get fooled. So it's a Kevlar dummy that kind of pops up like a Metal Gear Solid 5, you know, where it just like blows up and just shows up. Yeah. And it's really interesting because if you're on land, you can, and you put it under a table or like near cover, it'll automatically crouch so it looks like a person. If you're in the water, it'll do a swimming pose, so it looks like he has his gun in the air while swimming. So that's going to cause a lot of chaos, I think, because it's really easy to get fooled by that. So very cool equipment additions that I think are going to be really fun to see.
Well, good stuff. Stella, thank you. Everybody should be sure to read both your campaign preview impressions and your multiplayer impressions for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 out this October for all the video game systems. For much more on this one, because there's going to be a lot between now and launch, keep it locked right here on IGN.